Using patterns of development in writing across disciplines. This will be our lesson for today. Paragraph. Paragraph is a composition of sentences that can be developed using a variety of patterns that reflect our thinking. It is said that the way we write our thoughts will say a lot of who we are and what type of person we are. And there are different types of pattern in writing paragraphs. First is the narration. Narration is a storytelling. It tells a story. It relates an incident or a series of events that leads to a conclusion or ending. It tells the readers when, where, and what happened. Storytelling can be very effective for the simple reason that people love to hear stories and will tune into a stories. Narration is usually used in the humanities. In a writing class, for instance, you can write about a particular event or a situation. A narrative paragraph contains action verbs and transition words that indicate time or sequence. And here are some transition words you can use to signal time or a sequence of order. We have first, second, third, and etc. After, next, then, eventually, soon. Meanwhile, a short time later, during, at the same time, simultaneously, suddenly, instantly, momentarily, the next day, following, thereafter, in the end, ultimately. So these are just the few transition words that you can use. We also have the description. Description is used to elucidate the nature of people, places, and things. You could start with a physical description, the details of how your subject looks, sounds, feels, smells, or even tastes like. And there are two types of description, the subjective description and the objective description. When we say subjective description, it conveys a highly personal view of your subject to seek strong emotional response. It details that your opinions or interpretation may have some emotional qualities. There is somehow a emotional attachment to your words. Example: the sky is ominous looking. Next is meanwhile, the objective description. It describes things in a very straightforward and literal way. It is like being a reporter or being a technical writer. It details that fact-based and have no opinion or emotional qualities. So it's just going to be a full factual based and have no emotional attachment, unlike subjective. Example: the sky is cloudy and gray today. In objective, you're just gonna say describe what is being seen, literally, and no attachment, no emotional or your opinion won't be included. Unlike the subjective, that it includes the personal or emotional attachment of the writer to that subject. Next, we have the definition. Definition involves the amplification of a thought by more than just a dictionary definition. Definition proper is strengthened by a series of concrete and details. Identifies a term and sets it apart from all other terms that may be related to it. In description, we're not just giving the description from the dictionary, but we are just giving more information and more information about it that will not just based on a dictionary or the literal definition of it. And here are the methods, these common methods of giving definition. We can define it by characteristics or features, like physical features as well as behaviors may be part of this type of definition. We can define it by function, how something works or what it does can be important part of definition. We can define it by what it is not. Ironically, we can get a pretty good sense of what something is like by learning what it is not or what it is lacking. We are just giving the opposite, like that, what it cannot do. We define it by what it is similar to. So we're doing comparison and an analogy to help us understand things that are unfamiliar to us. We may define it by example. Giving examples illustrating what the term means can be highly effective. We can define it by its origins. Providing a history of what a term has meant can help us understand its current meaning, or like giving the etymology. And at last, we can define it by its effect. Discussing what effects the subject produces is important with certain subjects or in certain contexts. Aside from definition, we also have the exemplification or illustration. When we say exemplification, it means giving examples. When we say illustration, it means making ideas clearer by giving examples, diagrams, or pictures. Using exemplification or illustration, the writer develops a general statement, the topic sentence with one or more examples, simply proving or supporting your point or thesis with examples. So the usage of exemplification or illustration gives us more strong evidences or proofs to our point, to our topic, or to our subject. And in this type of essay, examples act as a supporting material to explain or clarify the generalization. And here are the terms we can use for exemplification or illustration. For comparison, we use the phrases in the same way, by the same token, similarly, in like manner, likewise, in similar fashion, and yet. Yet will be under the contrast. For contrast, we have yet and yet, nevertheless, nonetheless, after all, but, however, though, otherwise, on the contrary, in contrast, notwithstanding, and on the other hand. We also have the pattern or method of cause and effect. It is a method in developing a paragraph and useful in explaining why something happens. So here in cause and effect, we will know why and how something happens. And these are the phrases that we can use to show cause. Because, since, is due to, is caused by, so those are for the cause. The terms we can use or the phrases that we can use to show effects are for this reason, it follows, as a result, as a consequence, thus, so, therefore. Meanwhile, the problem solution, one of the most commonly used paragraph pattern. It has two parts, a problem and a solution. The writer presents the problem and some facts or reason why it is a problem. And naturally, Readers look for a solution for the problem. The closing statement or a conclusion highlights the connection between the problem and the solution. At last is the persuasion. As we all know, it is to convince someone that your opinion on a subject is the right one. So it is persuading, making them believe or making them side with your opinion or with your point. And there are methods of persuasion. Most important one is the usage of facts, using factual informations. We also have we can also use the referring to authority who can give impartial and unbiased information, mentioning or tagging an individual who is known to be reliable on that point or on that topic, who can give their neutral or rather a good impression, a good opinion, a good information that is being fair. We also have the predicting the consequence and answering the oppositions. Predicting, telling your readers or your audience what might or might not happen, and or answering the oppositions. What will be its contradict? What will be it good for? So here are the words or phrases that we can use. Here are the signal words to illustrate your points in giving reasons. We have first, second, third, another, next, last, finally, because, since, for, although. We are using or we have also used phrases to signal words to answer oppositions like of course, nevertheless, on the other hand, some may say, and at last to signal words to draw conclusions. Therefore, hence, consequently, thus. So that will be all for today. Thank you for watching and listening our video lesson. Hope you have a great day. Keep safe. Bye now.